like, I want to say it was 2012, maybe. Um, so he is also a former member of the Canadian Armed Forces, and they basically have ranked him as the world's #1 arm wrestler. This is 12 weeks out to a fight. The man is self-admittedly said he's never boxed ever. Ever. Going in against into a fight where they have already said in multiple videos that this is not going to be an exhibition. It is going to be a fight. Okay? Real punches will be landed. I hate to tell you, but the last two fights, last two exhibition fights Thor was in, punches were landed. They just pulled them. And he did still go down. Not anything against Thor. Thor did land some good punches too, but Thor did go down. Now, Devin Laird, on the other hand, 12 weeks to fight. And I watched a training video where he was with Lawrence Chalet. He has a channel on YouTube. Look for Big Laws Official. I don't know what to make out of this. I really don't know what to make out of this. Again, I can't stress this enough. I like old Thor. You know, back when he earned the nickname The Mountain. He was big. He was huge. Now he's jacked. He's chiseled. But he also, if you've seen pictures, his face, he looks almost like he's anorexic. He looks, I don't know, he just doesn't look well in his face. His body looks great. His face looks haggard. And to have him choose somebody who, even though they're friends, to choose somebody who's never stepped into a boxing ring, friendly with them. I'm not saying you can't be friends with somebody you go into a boxing match with, but you're going against somebody who's never been in a boxing ring, has 12 weeks to get into some sort of fighting shape. You've had over a year, and and who knows, maybe it was for show, but this guy didn't look like he had all the. He was really stiff, like really stiff. He even said in certain exercises he can't do certain things because he can't do like the full thing with his fist or with his arms. And I'm thinking to myself, did Thor do this to make himself look good because there's no way he could lose to this guy? Or did he do it because he's afraid to lose to this guy who's never had any training, never stepped in a boxing ring? And again, I can't speak for the mindset here. Who knows? Devin Laird could surprise everybody. Maybe it was a good choice to choose him. But at the same token, in my mind, I'm like, this does not look good for Thor. Even if he knocks him down and wins the fight. You want to fight against somebody who literally had just weeks of training. Whoa. You had a year of training. We lost. There we go. Up. To sound like Froggy from the Little Rascals. Anyway, but basically, to lose against somebody who barely had any training or whatever not, that would be disastrous. But to win, I think is equally disastrous. I mean, in some cases, it's no different than like at the beginning of college football, unless you're Appalachian State. Yeah, I still remember that game. I was there, folks. But when you take a juggernaut team, say like Alabama, against, I don't know, Cuyahoga's Pharmacy Tech's War Badgers, there's no question who's going to get destroyed here. I just don't understand the motivations here that he chose this guy. I mean, maybe there was a good reason. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from this guy. He seems like a really good, personable guy. He seems very down to earth. Like I said, he was in the Royal Army. in Canada. He's a world-class arm wrestler, so clearly he's got strength. But am I the only one? Am I the only one that just does not understand the motivations here? I mean, I think Hafthor's in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Anyone?
Yeah, I agree.
There's 2 syllables, folks. Pardon me, 3 syllables. I agree. That's a record. What about you, Cortez?
I mean, I feel like it's something strategic about it. I haven't really been following it, but based on what you was telling me and what I just went and looked up, the guy looks a lot smaller, but he don't look like he's no lightweight. You know, he looks like he's that hillbilly punching bags in the backyard when he mad type of guy.
You got the cameras in my backyard again, don't you?
But I honestly think, I don't think bodybuilders make good boxers, because with the isolated lifts and all the stuff that they're doing, it's like you're never fully extending, so you're gonna have sore joints. You're not, the issue we were talking about, the extension is not gonna be what you would think it is. The reaction time, the movement, it's gonna be a very slow boxing match. That's what I'm taking from it. It's gonna be a very slow boxing match. But I think the other guy got the upper hand of, 1, being a little shorter, and 2, not being as bulky as he is.
He's not that, well, I'm
Well,
not going to say
he's not bulky at all.
He's
but
not as bulky as he used to be. Oh. This is going to be a fun episode, folks. What's that song? The I'm not a frog. Da, 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 ain't got a thing. She's not even paying fucking attention to me. Really? 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 You're sitting there with earphones on, and you're just playing some word game, and I'm asking you, I don't care what you say. I'm looking for a word. Annoyance. That's what you are, annoyance. Ugh. That's why you're the color commentary. Anywho, where were we? And I don't think Thor is a bodybuilder anymore. I don't even think he's a bodybuilder. He was in strongman, so he had to bulk up, but he wasn't like what I would call like Arnold in the late 70s, like cut. Even now, he is cut, but I don't think he was training at all for bodybuilding. He's solely been training for boxing.
I don't know. I mean, that's probably where the slendering comes from. But as far as the overall bulkiness, I just don't see it. And if this is still the Thor that we looked at a few shows back, the footwork got to be right.
Well, I mean, we can look at like his channel and see if he has anything recent. But I looked at a picture of him on Instagram yesterday, on Big Laz's Instagram, and I'm telling you, he's not that old. He is not that old. I think Thor's in his 30s. He looks old. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it's, laying off the, vitamin B3, or if he is just up late at night getting the training, but he just looks so fucking haggard. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I'm 50 and I don't even look as haggard. I'm fat, but I don't look as haggard. But like I said, the whole thing with Devin Larratt is the last video I saw of him training, even though his trainer says he's gotten leaps and bounds better, that's great. The problem is that you still have 12 weeks of training. Probably actually just 11, because when they made the announcement, he was at 12 weeks. Let's see. I will knock you out in the first round. Devin Larratt. And like I said, they're friends. They are friends. But at the same token, Thor just, I don't know. Again, I want to like the guy. I used to really like Thor, but I'm just leaps and bounds. Just so far away from his camp. It even has nothing to do with Runar anymore.
Is that Devin Laird right here?
That's him. And if you look at look how Thor is. Look at the thumbnail 2 down. That's when they had that arm wrestling contest, and he beat Thor. Okay.
See, and that's where it gets tricky because people will see that and think that he have a chance, but it's all about leverage when it comes to this.
Right.
It's all about the leverage, so that really doesn't come into play when it comes to the boxing match. However, well, looking at that thumbnail, it don't look like he's much shorter than him, but
Well, they probably raised the seat up a little bit.
okay, so he is a lot shorter than Thor.
I think Devin Laird is like about 6. I want to say he's almost the same size as Eddie Hall, which is like about 6'4", 6'5", and Thor's 6'9".
Oh yeah, so if as long as he keep giving them uppercuts to the chin, he gonna knock that mountain down. But yeah, I see him being a lot more limber. Cause look how
Yeah,
relaxed he is.
6'5", 6'5".
Look how relaxed he is just at the setup of the arm wrestling, and Thor all the way up in like.
But that's arm wrestling. We're talking boxing, man.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like when it comes to form and technique, he's so closed in. Like his punches, I feel like are closed in, and if he do telegraph, they weak punches.
I don't know. I really don't know. I just, to me, it's still the only one who knows truly what the motivations are is Half Thor's camp as to why they chose Devin Laird.
Whether it's the familiar.
Oh, they're hounding me again. Just because you did some investigating in the stock market, here's an advertisement. And this is just like a little intro into the interview, but yeah, the whole thing is that I'm pulling, and here's the one thing I don't condone. I mean, granted, I've done it on Eddie's channel and Maurice Pujanowski's Instagram page. Knock Half Thor the fuck out. But the funny thing is Devin Laird said that people went onto his YouTube channel, his Instagram page, and they're all telling him reasons he should hate Thor. I don't condone that. It's like, look, Half Thor is a bit of a poor sportsman. Not even going to lie about that. Has he gotten a little more mature? Maybe. Do I think people making him look to be the hero versus Eddie being the villain? Yeah, I see that because, he tries to sound humble. He had a comment on his channel when he found out Eddie had to postpone the fight. He's like, if I saw Eddie today, I'd be like, hey, mate, how are you doing? And he had this shit-eating grin on his face. And people are like, see, he's so humble. That's not being humble. That's being snide. Hey, mate, how you doing? Well, clearly he's been better. But the point is as much as I liked Half Thor, I do see how you shouldn't really look behind the curtain at your hero or you shouldn't meet your heroes type of deal. I still think he's more of a humble guy. I think he's grown a lot, but I still see little cracks of that poor loser of 2017. Who was so close to winning a championship and he got beat by 1 point. I see cracks in that armor of his. Or see chips in the mountain, if you will. I don't know. I'm going to, I guess the fight starts 4 o'clock our time. It starts 9 p.m. UK time. But maybe not their actual fight. There's like several fights in the undercard. Like, go pop that up again. See if it'll pop. Let's see. Okay. Come on, give me the undercard. Give me the undercard. Steffi Cohen versus Marcella. I'm going to probably butcher this name. Nieto. Tomato. Avril Matthew versus Jessica Mifenga. Actually, yeah, wait a minute. Looks like these are in progress.
I was gonna say it's a live stream on YouTube or something.
Because it says Avril Matthew and Jessica Mifenga. Matthew wins via unanimous decision. Steffi Cohen versus Marcella Naito, whatever, was a majority draw. Then they're going on about... Yeah, they're still saying that the actual fight won't start until 4 o'clock, our time. So maybe this is another undercard fight that they're showing. But, oh, wait a minute. Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down just a little bit. Exclusive... yeah, right there. You'll see in some instances how stiff this man is. And again, nothing against him because he didn't have that much time to train. But at the same token, I just think it's like when you see a big college team against a high school team from Topeka, Kansas. Nothing against you, Topeka.
Talk about how they did with Michigan versus Western. Yeah, okay.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
Because that was not supposed to happen. The game was not supposed to happen.
They could have said, no.
Give
no.
Harbaugh a real team to go against.
I agree. I'm not even saying that against Western Michigan. I'm just saying, with everything with Harbaugh, he needs to face a challenge to prove that he deserves to still be the head coach. But we're getting away from the point now, aren't we?
We are. But,
okay, so sparring. So far, it sounds like a porn. And is he bleeding?
It looks like it. Like he's bruised up.
I got it from Dubai. Yesterday evening from Dubai. And yesterday evening, I went with Devon Lara and his training partner to watch them spar. It was hard rounds of sparring. And it was very seriously.
God, I hope so.
Very, very seriously. Everybody's wondered about Devon. All from Eddie. I haven't seen sparring footage. Saw some great things from Devon. I saw he could take shots. And I saw when he did take shots, he still kept coming forward. Devon. I saw he could take shots. He was moving in straight lines. When he did take shots, so parry shots away. So I saw a lot more than I expected. Straight lines. Now seeing a lot more than I expected. But now seeing how he trains, no wonder why. It's under why. His sparring partner Zach is making him work seriously hard. And I think they pay dividends.
And hoping his ass out before the fight.
But Devon can give him real problems. I kind of feel this moment last night in this footage you're about to see is one of those experiences I'll never forget. It seemed like an important moment. It's before this huge fight. It's something that Devon never expected to do. But left everything in the gym there. No stone unturned in that training session. He gave everything, and the next time he's going to do that is in the actual fight. So have a look. You'll see how Devon gets on. Finally, you're going to see some of his sparring. I wish both the guys best of luck on the night. But for Devon to take this fight at such short notice and put in the kind of dedication that I saw yesterday, he's a real winner in my eyes for doing that. So huge credit to him. And this fight will be on September the 18th on coresports.world.
Okay, so yeah, there is another fight there that's probably going to go on in a moment.
Feel it.
See, his trainer, if I'm not mistaken, is an MMA fighter. I could be horribly wrong. And for those listening, no, this is not porn. Someone's getting pounded, but not in the way you think. Ding! But, okay, I will say he does move kind of quicker than I was expecting, but the same thing holds is that he's still very stiff.
The only thing I hate with sparring or training like this is because you don't get to fight with your full potential.
Well, of course, well,
You got to refrain back because you're working on trying to be so comfortable and mastering the swing. You never really learn to put the power behind it. You just learn the form, the connect.
but as you get more advanced in it, and they give you they give you various sparring partners, then they have you go full potential. And again, I can't stress this enough. This isn't porn, folks. He sounds like me after I've, like, tried to jog. Like, a block. Not even a whole block. I'm just talking, like, down the end of the street.
Sorry. It doesn't hurt as much as last time.
That was his best round.
He breathed like he got COPD or something.
Well, let's be realistic. In arm wrestling, are you doing a lot of cardio?
No.
And you in boxing, cardio is like a staple. Because you got to go, you know, however many rounds you can survive, you know? This isn't MMA. Stop that. That was a good evade, but I'm not sure if his trainer was holding back. All right, let's back out of this. Because we're just going to hear more heavy breathing. I mean, let's be realistic. So I don't know what stage he was at for that part of the training. I don't know if that was week 3, 4, whatever. But he made the comment, it didn't hurt like last time. But then he said the thing that's concerning, my lungs, though. I don't know if he will survive. Again, don't know what week this is, what day in training it is. No clue. But do you think he'll survive past maybe 3 rounds?
I don't think they're going to make it past. I say at the most, this fight's going to go 4. And I don't think it's going to be from no knockdown or knockout. I think it's just going to be totally, one of them is going to be extremely winded and just can't go on. The referee go see it as a medical
Gee,
issue.
I wonder who's going to be seen as extremely winded. Because again,
I
Thor's had
would
a.
love for him to get a few good punches off.
Oh yeah.
You might be able to weaken that body, give him a couple body shots, and bring him down to your level, then tear that chin up. But after that, you better pray and keep moving around. Like you moving that limber, you need to just play a defensive game and just jab moving back. Make him chase you around the ring.
Yeah. And I hope he really does well. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I still think this kind of makes Thor look like a pussy in a weird way. I mean, I know I'm saying this tons and tons of times. I'm not trying to take anything away from Devin. Nothing. He is taking his training very seriously. Although he does have a few little jokes here and there, if you've seen him train with Laz and all that stuff. But the fact is that you got one that's been training over a year and another that's been training for weeks. It's just my opinion. I could be in the wrong, in the minority, but it just, to me, I don't think Thor. We're starting shortly. Okay. I don't think Thor can win. In just in my eyes, I don't think Thor can win. And by that I mean, if he wins, he win against an opponent that wasn't training as long as he was. If he loses, he looks really bad. So, in my opinion, he just can't win. He just can't. If it was just an exhibition, I'd say, okay, they can treat it like an exhibition, and I think he can come out looking somewhat all right. But if they're treating this as there's going to be real punches thrown, which really, but they're treating it as a real fight, Thor can't win. He can't win. I'm not saying, I don't want him to win. I'm saying, in my humble opinion, if he wins, he looks stupid for winning a fight against someone who had significantly far less training than he did. If he loses, he looks bad because he lost to somebody who had significantly far less training than he did.
So in other words, you think the fight shouldn't happen at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they should have postponed it. I know a lot of people were upset.
I think that would have been the smartest move, is to push it back. I think it would have generated, I guess, more of a revenue or more of a...
Look at it this way. A lot of people were saying Core Sports did the right thing by continuing on with the fight. But look at the people who bought tickets for when it was originally in Vegas. Okay? It was originally supposed to happen in Vegas. Then it got moved to Florida, and then they just said, fuck it, we're going to Dubai. So, really? You're telling me it couldn't have been postponed at all? You moved the venue twice.
I see some lawsuits happening.
I don't know. I know they basically reimbursed those who bought it off Core Sports, saying you can either watch this fight or we can give you a voucher sorts, so you don't have to pay for it when the actual fight happens in March. But I'm thinking of the people that originally wanted to see it in Vegas. Now, granted, the tickets weren't on sale as of yet, so you can't take that one off the table. But when it was still set in Florida, tickets went on sale. And because I think they moved it, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they moved it because of the spike rate in the pandemic cases in Florida, and they didn't want to risk it to the athletes or whatever. So that's why they ended up moving it to Dubai, because they were having a strongman competition that weekend anyway. Might as well have a former strongman come in and have his fight there. I'm thinking of the people that bought the tickets, got hotel reservations, and got fucked because they moved it to Dubai.
And that's without using the hotel room, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Without using the hotel room. It's like, well, I got fucked. I might as well really get fucked. But yeah, that's the point I'm making. To me, I think I would have just postponed the damn fight. I think more people, granted the ones that bought the tickets, now you have to reschedule your time off to go down for the fight. But that's actually easier than, okay, I can still go see the fight, but I have to fly to fucking Dubai? Dubai my ass. Oh my God, no. And it looks beautiful there. I wouldn't mind visiting, but I wanted to see the fight here. I paid for the fight here. I'm not flying to Dubai.
I mean, unless they cover their expenses.
I don't think they do.
Oh, nope.
So yeah, basically, I think you helped me out figure out why it bothers me so much. I think they should have just fucking postponed the fight. Give us the fight we want to see. I think after seeing a few video clips of Devin Laird, I've actually kind of become a fan of his because he's a very, likable guy. But I don't want to see Thor versus Devin. I want to see Thor versus Eddie. And I still have this deep down in my head thinking, a lot of their bad blood is still just kind of, for show. It's there, but it's not totally there. But the whole thing is that, because in order to sell tickets, you got to sell a story. You got to sell the buildup. And they've been pumping really hard on Eddie's hatred of Thor for tainting his victory at World's Strongest Man. That Thor is, has an axe to grind too because, when he won the Arnold Classic, his last one, I think it was 2020, before he started going gung-ho into training for boxing, Eddie was behind him going, pretending like he was asleep during an interview. Hate to say it, I would have fallen asleep during an interview because Thor is kind of boring in his interviews. He's a nice guy, but not exactly lively. But Eddie was probably doing that as a joke. Eddie's thing is he is that asshole that you love to hate. He's a lovable asshole. That's his shtick. But I don't know. I'm still saying shame on Core Sports in a way for continuing on with the fight. I don't think they wanted to lose, even though I think they did give refunds. Some people didn't want to see this fight at all. And even though the fight is still going to happen, it's not like it's not. I would have just postponed the damn thing. I mean, I'm sure if the fight starts at 4, you can bet your butt I'm going to check at about 6 o'clock on my phone who won the fight, or was it a win, lose, or draw, that type of thing. I really have no interest of checking every minute like a pay-per-view for wrestling. That's how little interest I have in this actual fight. I'm pulling for Devin. The guy, I think, did a good thing by stepping up. I don't think he's getting paid the kind of money Eddie Hall and Thor are getting paid for their fight. I think they're in the millions for their fight. Whereas I think Devin Laird stepping up, maybe getting a couple of $100,000. Who knows? But the point is, and I know I'm repeating myself, Thor can't win. Core Sports, I think you should have postponed the damn fight. Because you're going to paint Thor one way or the other. One way or the other. You better hope it's a draw. And even then, that might not make him look good. So moving on. Amanda, you pointed out a news article before we went on the air about what did you say it was a burrito company?
Yeah, it was a store about a burrito chain.
Okay, and what city was it in?
I don't know. It wasn't this state.
We're a well-informed group, aren't we? So what exactly happened?
All the employees quit at the same time. They just left a note in the window apologizing to their patrons and saying, we love you guys and miss you, but we've all been working 7 days a week. We've had almost no time off, and, we're not appreciated. We can't take it anymore. So they all just collectively quit, so that store had to shut down.
Which is very reminiscent about what happened on my birthday at the Hotel Pontchartrain. It was the entire management staff, though, in this case. And I'm thinking it's just getting worse.
Yeah.
I don't understand. If someone can make me understand, I'd appreciate it. I don't get why everything is now so difficult in as far as the workforce to fill positions. Yeah, I think wages have a lot to do with it. Getting immediate benefits has a lot to do with it. Not wanting to go back to situations where you got the Karens of the world yelling at you and bitching at you because you put pickles on their burger and they asked for no pickles specifically.
Them pickles on that chicken sandwich was pretty tasty.
Well, you wouldn't think so, but it does.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
works.
Like for many of years, back when McDonald's came out with that chicken sandwich back in the days, and they used to have a pickle on it when it first came out. It's like, who the hell puts pickle on chicken sandwich? Here it is now. I love it.
It's because you grew up. Your taste
I won't
buds
get it
went
from
with you.
McDonald's though.
No.
In McDonald's in a certain Oak City.
Gee, I
tore
wonder
me up the
which.
other day.
I wonder which one you're talking about. But and I still contend the one from Popeyes. It was like an actual turkey, not turkey breast. I wish it was a turkey breast, a chicken breast. I mean, it's like oh.
That KFC one was actually pretty tender,
Really?
fresh out the grease. That I don't know. That one give Chick-fil-A its run for its money.
You hear that, you homophobic bastards? They got tender breasts. Ha ha. So, getting back to a little bit seriousness, the whole thing with the workforce, it's kind of scary because I'm actually, and be careful, we can't mention where we work. I can't tell you how many times in my head I'm thinking the next few months are going to be interesting because it seems like production of product is accelerating, but the manpower is decreasing. And it's going to be to the point where even though you can make hand over fist with OT and all that stuff, eventually you're going to burn out. And there's no amount of money that's going to convince your ass to get off the couch and come in for another 8 to 10 hours. None. You're going to get fed up. And this is not just with the industry we work in. I think it's pretty much almost across the fucking board. If it's a fucking burrito chain, which what chain? What chain does burritos? I want to live there.
I don't know.
And don't say Del Taco. Even though they have good burritos. But the point is that this seems to be nationwide. Maybe even beyond the United States. Maybe even Canada. I don't know. But you still see places. I saw a sign in the window of a place I did not think they were hurting for help. Because the last time we went in there is when she needed a new phone. There was only one employee. One. That was it.
And you know what sucks for that one employee? They never get the incentives that they should.
Nope.
Because I feel like if you got to do the work of 2 or 3 people that's normally scheduled for that shift and you're by yourself, you should get paid all 3 wages for working that day.
I agree.
And I've been saying that for years with my mom working in home health care.
Mm-hmm.
People will call off all the time. That inconvenience your day. Don't come in on time. You can't leave until you got relief. You got 6 to 12 people here, and if you got 12 people, it's only supposed to be a 6-to-1 ratio or a 1-to-6 ratio. Here it is, 1 person for 12. You know, if that person don't show up if
should
that
get
person
their
have to
money.
stay on that clock, they should be able to get their wage too for that day.
Right, but
Especially if nobody is coming in.
in this case, this was I don't know if I should say their name. I don't want to get like pinged, but Boost Mobile. But she was the only one in there, and we were the only people in there. She was in there reading. So to see a help wanted sign in their window for usually a one person job, something's not right here. How bad it's showing how bad it really is.
I don't know. I mean, coming from where I'm from, and I say that like I'm from a far place, but like just
Long ago in a galaxy far, far away.
yeah, in a place called the ghetto. But no, a lot of people that I associate or used to associate myself with, a lot of them have grown used to the resources, the money, the money resources. So a lot of them don't want to go back to work because why there was the PPP loan, the stimulus money. A lot of them got put so far ahead because of what they did with their money or set their lifestyle up to where they're comfortable. At least some of the ones I know, bought houses, got them a car. If they can make rent any other way they do it, that's on them. But I don't know. I just feel like resources became too plentiful for people, and some people really just got lost and strung out on it. It was like a drug. Every other week, here it is, the government talking about, oh, we're going to release this money to these people, this money to these people. So everybody's going through the internet trying to apply for any and everything. Then we had the FEMA money all of a sudden with the rain. And
Yeah, which you need. I think you missed the deadline.
so it's really just, I think it's our government as well as media immobilizing people, exposing the fact that, okay, here are, and I don't know the right word to say it, but here go some accessible resources that almost anybody can do if you got a little, or can get if you got a little computer smarts. And I think so many people got strung out on just getting all that money at one time, either set themselves up or they walked away from their job thinking it was going to be there forever. And now here it is. You walk away from a job, no notice. You can't go back where you came from. Now you got to find something new. And with these COVID qualifications, everybody just about having to get, a requirement for that shot, I think is really going to be the justifying matter for everybody. Because if it wasn't for the fact I'm tired of job hopping, I probably wouldn't have got the first vaccine. I'm still like dreading on my second one for my own personal reason. No, like I've really been feeling like weird since I got it. Like I'm talking about numbness, tinglings, and things like that. But again, it could be health. But you never know. But I think that's going to be the deciding factor of if these jobs even come back. If you don't, they going to have to lift up on some of the restrictions if they expect to see the capacity of workers they once seen.
If you mean like the mask mandates and getting the vaccine,
I think the mask, yeah, if they can really push that to where you can choose between the mask and getting the vaccination.
but what if you got some assholes that's like, I don't want either. That's an infringement upon my freedoms.
Shit, stay unemployed. And I feel like if you that nonchalant about it, there should be repercussions if you say it in the wrong place. And not to be a hater or anything, but like my closest homeboy, I got a performance tonight. And
You don't want to pimp it before we move on?
huh?
You don't want to pimp it before we move on?
No. We ain't got to right now. If you want to, come to Simon's tonight. Doors open up at 7, Allen Park. But no, like, I understand that some people want to come social, gather, and all this. And there's going to be people in that crowd that don't wear a mask, probably don't get tested, don't ever go to a doctor, self-diagnosing, and probably got a cough right then and there and just hiding it. But I'm one of them people like, okay, yeah, let's have a good time. But I feel like you should pay that consequence. If you want to socialize in here, I think you should pay twice the amount that it costs to get in here if you want to do without a mask. Like you said, it's got to be some repercussions. If you don't want to follow the mandates or keep a mask on, I don't like either. But if I had to choose, I would choose my mask. But if you don't want to do either, to get into certain places, I feel like there should be admission costs, or there should be double the pay. If there was an admission cost, you should pay twice as much. You know how the ladies are free until a certain time and the guys pay $20. If you want to come in there without a mask, women, you should have to pay $20. Men, you pay $40.
Boy, you're putting a different spin on happy hour, aren't you?
Hey, I'm just saying, it's just like, I want to have safe fun. I want to be able to make it home to my family. None of us, scientists either, none of us know what the hell the injection or the vaccine is going to do to us in the long haul. It hasn't been out long enough for us to know. So I just say, just take the risk, because you could walk outside your house and get killed right then and there. But nobody thinks about that. It's once somebody puts something in front of you saying that you got to do it, now you want to become Buff Bagwell and rebuttal against everything, So, I mean, just felt like, yeah.
There's a blast from the past.
Hey, do what you want to do.
Buff the stuff.
I'm telling you. But no, I feel like you should do what you want to do, but at the same time, you can't do it at the expense of others without repercussion. And if you want to socialize and do all this other stuff and not wear a mask, and you want to work without this, that, and the third, oh yeah, you definitely on dish duty. And then, if you getting in this club, you paying twice the amount. If you want to eat in this club, you're going to have to pay a sitting fee. Because here it is, you just, I don't know, I can go on for days for it. I mean, because I got my own little reasons why. I work in the hospital, so I see, like, me still being that conspiracy person, believing in COVID and not believing in COVID, but working in pulmonary and seeing these people. And I honestly, this week alone, I maybe had 13 death certificates, and that was for one doctor.
Jesus.
That was for one doctor. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, at the end of the day, we can believe what we want to believe. Proof is in the numbers. Proof is in the visual things you can see. I'm here on the front line watching these people get put on ventilators, get pulled off of ventilators. Why they be the doctor not knowing the right regimen or whatever. Nobody knows what this is really doing to us. And why not protect yourselves and everybody else? Because who to say that variant, it might not be in the virus. It just might be how that person, it reacted with that person when they project it back out. Nobody ever thinks about those type of scenarios. It's always the scientific methods. Oh, it's mutating, get boosters, this, that, and the third. How come it can't be just what that person had? Like, say, you know how tuberculosis is, tuberculosis.
Notice I'm slowly turning my head because she's my science officer.
Uh-huh.
She might be able to bounce back off of this. Or not.
Really. I mean,
or not.
They do mute. That's just how life works. It'll mutate until it can get a foothold, and if that stops working, just like how we have antibiotic-resistant bacteria, they just keep evolving and changing so that they can keep surviving, right? But yeah, I don't necessarily think you're wrong either. Yeah, different people react different ways. Your body does different things with it, and a lot of our own genetic makeup is viral to begin with, so you have no idea really, what different people mixing with different viruses can do to the virus too.
Yeah, could have turned you into that guy in the Green Mile,
Really?
Wait, is that Green Mile or Green Acres?
It definitely ain't Green Acres.
Okay. It's the one with Michael Duncan Clark.
That's Green Mile.
Okay. Yeah, Green Mile.
Green Acres is the place to be, but I don't think farm fresh living is the life for me. But you also look at some other people who do wear masks, they got vaccinated, and yet they still got the virus.
Yeah.
Now, that could be the argument, well, what's the point? I'm going to get it anyway. Look at these people. They wore their masks. They got vaccinated. They got the COVID case. There's a big difference. Huge difference. The difference is if you didn't take some precautions versus taking precautions. It's like wearing a bulletproof vest and you get shot versus not wearing a bulletproof vest and getting shot in the same spot. And I'm going to point to my chest because if you get shot in the leg, obviously the vest ain't going to do shit. But if you got shot in the gut, depending on the caliber, what type of bullets, you get the idea. You're still going to get shot. You're still going to feel some sort of pain from being shot if you're wearing a bulletproof vest. But if you're not wearing a bulletproof vest, guess what? It's far worse. Same scenario. There are people, and again, I know we talked about this on the last show, but there are people who were so against getting vaccinated, so against the mask mandates, and yet then they find themselves getting intubated, or I think I got the right word. They're on ventilators. Whereas a person who got the shot, yeah, they felt like hell, but they didn't have to be hospitalized for it. They could stay at home. Granted, they're not feeling $1 million, but they at least are recovering in their own bed. Hospital beds are being literally, there was, I don't know if this is glorified news reporting or what. I'm not even going to lie to you folks. I hate watching the news, which is why I don't. But unfortunately, every now and then I get little blings on my phone that are like, hey, would you like to hear the bad news today? And some of them are like hospital beds in Alabama are being overloaded with COVID cases, same as Florida, Texas. They have to turn people away. One guy died because they couldn't get him in to a hospital because they were full. And they had to try to take him somewhere else. And by the time they were getting there, he was already passed away. Now, I find that kind of hard to believe.
See, and that's the problem with me. And, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes, you did.
No, not this time. No, I just feel like a lot of hospitals are lying when they say they have no more rooms. Because if you're an employee of that hospital, you are getting the numbers on a weekly basis of how many that you are seeing. And I'm talking about we've dropped from thousands. I think it's more so ER not wanting to take accountability of not being able to do the appropriate things, because I feel like a lot of people are still unsure with this virus. And like I said, I get what you're saying as far as there's a difference from getting vaccinated and not getting vaccinated as far as the precautions part. But how do we truly know that's a precautionary method? How do we not know we're contributing to the advancement of the shutdown of our bodies? That's what I'm saying, because you got to think, we've lived under a government who's done so much to us, and I'm not just talking black or white, I'm just talking as a whole society. The many of things they have done to us in secrecy. 9/11, I don't think that was an accident. The Tuskegee experiment.
Okay, I'm with you on Tuskegee. I'm with you on Tuskegee, but you lost me at 9/11. You lost me.
You didn't see those buildings, those floors exploding before it collapsed? I want you to go back and watch those videos slow. Because when they did the first documentary on it, they said a week prior to this whole thing, they had evacuation for mandatory fire drill. And then when that first plane hit, minutes later, that second plane hit, right before that tower collapsed, you seen some floors up under it blowing up. And then it started coming down. That's why it came down in a demolition style versus stuff falling over high. What did it? Because it was forced. So if you running into some brick and concrete, you lean into a different way. How did it all come down in a collapsed manner?
You have me there, but as a counterpoint, you have an airplane with X amount of fuel that impacted into a building. It's burning literally how many temperatures, how many degrees. If I were to take a freaking, I don't know, if I would take fire and put it to this bottle, yeah, if I aimed it to one side, it's going to tip to a side and collapse like this. But if I were to take fire and totally encompass the center of this bottle, it's going to go boom.
Yeah, but it's not going to start from the bottom, work itself up before it collapses.
But at the same token, don't you think it's possible? And I'm not trying to dissuade your argument, but I'm, as Krista said many moons ago, wherever you be, Krista, wherever you be. Isn't it? I'm a person that tries to look at it from every logical angle, which is why I think she said I would be horrible at a haunted house, because how do I know it's not some employee literally like somewhere just going boom, boom, boom. How do I know? I've watched enough horror movies and TV shows to know that there's always somebody in control of the strings. I want 100% proof. Same thing here. How do we know that there wasn't something that was caused from the explosion of the airplane when it impacted that didn't transcend a few floors that caused an explosion? I don't know what offices that were in the World Trade Center. I have no clue. I just know there was a restaurant at the top. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, how do we know something didn't explode because of that airplane?
They could have had like gas lines or something electrical too, but it is odd that it went from the bottom.
I could pull up the video, but it's like it was triggered.
By the way, never forget 9/11. We're not trying to diminish anything.
Oh, no, not at all, man. I done lost a friend. Well, a friend of mine lost a family member in there. I remember when it happened, I was in class, and the TVs popped on. That's back when we had the little TVs that hung up in the corners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's just so much that the government has done, like Area 51. What's so secretive about that?
It's where they got the secret 11 herbs and spices.
Hey, could be.
Although you can just Google it, people.
It could be. Like the whole alien situation. Why would you cover it up and you got all these whistleblowers? Like, let the people know, like, if it's here, we're going to encounter it one way or another, whether it be through artificial or through someone else. But the whole thing is, why are you fighting to protect so much that we should not know when we should know everything we need to know about our country, our government? What's so secretive about it?
Well, if we're talking aliens, I honestly, do I think there are other life forms outside of us? Absolutely. I would be arrogant to think otherwise. But I can just see the sort of panic that would come out, because you look at it and what's the biggest thing you hear when I seen it? Right there. The little change in my dialect. I seen it. You always think of some guy out in bumfuck, Alabama, who was strolling around with his bloodhound shooting at some frogs, and then all of a sudden this big bright light came out of the sky, and next thing you know, he had this big-eyed, bug-eyed aliens just staring at him, going, "Bend over, death row." I mean, how many abductions have you heard of in Michigan? How many abductions have you heard? Don't touch California. That whole place is an abduction site. I'm kidding, California. God, I'm going to be on everyone's hate mail in this country, I think. But the point is that if we were to prove that there is life outside, even though I personally think I saw a fucking spaceship.
I believe I saw one when I was at Western in Kalamazoo.
Was this before the Michigan game or after?
This was before I ever attended a Western game.
I had to, folks.
Freshman
I just had to. Okay, what did yours look like?
Well, it just seemed like it didn't look like, it looked like a V shape. You know how a bird would look in a far distance? Mm-hmm. But it was a flame, like a little flame or something that fell, like let's say if I'm here, like right outside the building, it was something that fell in the grass, like a flame. So I don't know if it was like a piece of a meteor or
Fuselage or something.
something like that that fell from the sky, but it's like I knew I seen something there, and all of a sudden, this little flame or something falls. Like me, I ain't go look because I'm not adventurous like that. I ran the fuck on.
So you
But-
you weren't. She's gonna get this joke in a second. You weren't like Jordy and going meteor shit.
Nah. Fuck all that. All I seen, look, it's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm walking from a girl's dorm that I ain't had no business being with. Got a swollen hand.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Now you don't know those are related.
Or weren't they? Leaving a girl's dorm with a swollen hand. Really? There's no way it could be possibly anything but.
Well, I was asleep. We both were asleep on the loft bed. And you know, they don't have the railings on the ends. So we both go to sleep up there after doing something. She was drunk, I believe. And all I know is that I woke up on the dorm floor. I fell through one of those wooden armchairs. You know how the old, like, office desk chairs, like waiting room chairs used to be?
Mm-hmm.
The thick, like, squared off. Fell through one of those. My hand was completely swollen, had a headache. And it was, I take that back, it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Because when I got back to the dorm room, my dorm mate, he was like, bro, what the fuck's wrong with your hand? I'm like, shit, I don't know. He was like, bro, you need to go get that checked out. So I went and checked it out. Turned out it was a fucked up, what'd they say? I had like tore something in my finger or whatever.
A ligament or something?
I want to say it was a ligament, but she used some other term. But all I know is that I was just remembering how good of a night I just had, for real. No, because, no offense, this was my first time being with a white girl. So I already had like this kind of concept in my head that it was going to be so much better than everything else I had. So...
Just kidding, honey. Just kidding.
But, you know, like I said, it's just a lot that they hide from us, and you don't know what to believe. And I don't fault anybody feeling the way they feel, especially when it comes to this vaccination. Like, I'm really just giving in to the point because there's no escaping it. You know, in a minute, you're going to have it to flip a burger.
Yeah.
You know, I say within the next 2 to 3 years, half of these fast food restaurants not going to be in existence no more.
Yeah, I kind of already see it. Either that or it's going to change to the point where it's going to be literally drive-through only.
Drive-through only, and only the major chains are going to be all these little mom and pop shops. They're not going to last.
But just real quick, I'm going to touch real briefly on my little I saw an alien type thing. I was sitting inside watching TV, and my older sister comes running in, and she's like, Dawn, come out here. I think I saw something. I'm like, I'm watching TV. Do I have to? And she's like, come on. So I'm like, fine, whatever. So I go outside, and my sister Monica's staring up at the sky, and she goes, I could swear I saw something up there. And I go, like what? And she goes, a spaceship. I'm like, are you high? So she's like, it was right over here. Now she's facing, if I remember correctly, she was facing, I believe, northeast. So me, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll humor her. I face southwest. And I'm just looking up like, I feel so stupid. I feel dumb. When all of a sudden, I want to say it was like rows of dots. One row of red, one row of green, one red of blue. And I believe there was some yellow dots. It comes literally like this and just hangs in the sky like that and hovers for like a couple of heartbeats. And then it does this. Goes forward and then boom, and takes off. And I'm like staring like, that wasn't one of our boys, was it? And all of a sudden I hear my sister go, did you see anything? I went, nope.
No, I can definitely believe that one too.
As far as I'm concerned, it was something. I don't know what,
It
but
had to be.
it sure as fuck wasn't a weather balloon.
They got the. That's where they got the idea for drones. I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah, I have no question about that. But I agree that the government does hide shit from us. I mean, why? This one has been bothering me for years. But why did they seal? We're gonna open a can of worms with this one. Why did they have to seal the evidence and all the circumstances surrounding JFK's assassination? What was?
Maybe because it was an inside job.
We don't know, do we?
That's
They
what I'm
they
saying.
they shot the patsy because isn't that what he was saying, that he was a patsy?
Honestly, I don't know why he was killed. I just knew from my understanding and what my parents was saying, not my parents, but relatives, it was like he was the closest thing to a black president since Abe Lincoln.
And before Clinton.
And before Clinton, yeah, I guess you can say that. Clinton was a soulful guy. That saxophone playing won a lot of votes.
You sure it wasn't the I didn't inhale?
Did he have a incident where they tried to say he was smoking?
I don't remember if it was before he became president, but he says I did not inhale because someone brought up his pot usage in college.
See, I know Barack, him and Michelle was getting wasted. I know they was smoking hella blunts. Look how fast he went from black hair to gray hair in the first 4 years.
Well, if you're president, they kind of prove that.
That's what I'm saying.
You see the president on Inauguration Day, and you see him on his last day, and they look like they've been through hell.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a lot of fugaziness. Like, what did Donald Trump father really do?
Besides being a member of the KKK.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what he did.
But he just came out of nowhere with Donald J. Trump being a multi-billionaire.
I think his original family came from Germany because their surname is Drumpf. Drumpf. He can denounce it all he wants. He's a Drumpf. He's actually a dumpster fire, but that's neither here nor there. But if anyone, even him, ironically, he didn't change all that much from his first day in office to his last. He looked like shit then, and he looked like shit when he left.
Well, I also believe there's two Donald Trumps.
Oh, what? Don't count Donnie Jr.
Nah. Again, that's why I say sometimes I keep my mouth. That's why when I first started your show, I kept my mouth closed for like a big chunk of it. Because I get into conspiracy, and not everybody likes to go there, if you know what I mean.
I don't mind going there, but sometimes it just makes my brain go, what?
I like hearing the weird ideas, though.
Yeah, because, getting other people insight, because some people never think of some of the stuff you think of. Like one comedian said.
Why do you think there are two?
Why do I think there's two?
Why do you think there are two?
Oh, if you really...
I know that there was a thing about Melania. There were different Melanias.
See, I never really paid that attention, but I already felt like that was fake anyway, because I've never seen her up until he became president. And again, that's just me. I just might be that ignorant to that culture, but I've never seen her up until
I'm
he
not
became
going to lie.
president.
I'm kind of with you. I didn't even know the fucker had remarried up until he became president.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I knew about the Donald Trump Jr. or whatever, but I didn't know he had kids and all this other stuff. But again,
That he wanted to sleep with Ivanka if he wasn't her father.
I've heard that story.
It was taken out of context, to be fair, but it's still a creepy ass thing to say.
No, I said, right, you got to sleep in the house with this man. But no, like, real quick, like the comedian said, it's a real conspiracy. Think about it. We got A batteries, double A batteries. We tripled up on the A's, but ain't no B batteries. Think about it.
Are you taking any edibles besides KFC right now?
No. Well, I'm just saying, that's the type of shit we do when we get high. Like, we sit there and think about that shit. Like they got C batteries, D batteries.
Wait, what do you call those ones that are not round, but there's a battery smaller than a AAA? I think it's just 4A. Never mind.
But
I
yeah,
call it a disc.
No, not the round ones.
Oh, you mean those itty bitties? Yeah. I call them itty bitties.
There are funky batteries, but you're right. I can't think of any that start with B except for
Okay.
the flat
What
disc
about
ones.
the Xbox?
what about it?
Name the different types of Xboxes.
What, I mean, like the Xbox One, 2.
Try again. I'll wait.
I don't know. I ain't into
I mean,
Xbox.
I'm not into games,
I'm
so
not
I
into
don't.
Xbox either. I've got a PS,
I'm
but
going to guess there's no Xbox 2. It went from 1 to 3.
no, it went
wonder
from Xbox One to an Xbox 360.
Oh.
Same thing with iPhone.
Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. Again, what happened from here?
Was there an iPhone 9?
Let's see.
There was an 8. I remember the 8, the 8 Plus. Then I remember XR,
Today
then they went back to 11s.
Today I learned they're on 13. I don't pay attention.
Yes, they had an iPhone 9.
They had an iPhone 9?
Mm-hmm.
So they had the 9. They did X and XR instead of saying 10, and then went back to numbers.
Well, X is 10.
Yeah, but why did? And if that's the case when you got to the 5, why you didn't use the V? Or if it was 11, why you ain't do the X1?
Because that would have been cool.
To the one person watching us on YouTube right now, help! We've gone off the rails. Help! Why didn't we go for? What? Moving on. But that is, and I think in some cases, like if you haven't played along, folks, we go like this. Wee. I think in cases of like the iPhone and the Xbox, it's because they're just like, let's just call it something different. Meanwhile, you got PlayStation going PS, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Hey, what should we make next? I know, PlayStation 5. And ironically, there's a PS5, or sometimes I only seen it very sparingly, PSV.
The
Yeah.
PS Vita one?
For 5, they use the Roman numeral for 5, which is V.
Maybe they just don't want to seem repetitious, so they'll throw something weird in there like, okay, new beginning.
Okay.
Even though it's just, the same old crap. Just
Why do iPhones say you iPhones with no charger block?
I don't know. I don't own an iPhone. I try to figure out why Android can't get Jarvis.
Who?
Jarvis.
The navigation system?
No.
it's Siri, but for Android, except it's not.
It's the voice for Tony Stark's AI assistant.
Oh, wow.
You can't get it on Android. You can only get it on iPhone.
Oh, I mean, iPhones are shitty now. Like, I just went back to Android.
Everyone loves the iPhone. I don't get it. I've seen people use it. I'm like, this is...
It's good for people who are on the go and they're into creativity. So if you're a musician or if you're somebody who's really working with media stuff, then it can really be a help to you. But if you're just an average daily Joe, you're not using no more than FaceTime and, social media apps.
Sorry, I had to look at the calendar because it just occurred to me. Let's see. We're on the 2nd, 16th. Oh, yes. So I'm going to say this now in advance for people that are listening and or watching. Our next shows in October will be the 2nd and the 16th. Now, technically, we should have a show on the 30th, Devil's Night. However, me and Amanda will be on vacation because we're already in the staging plans of what we're going to do for our anniversary, which is vastly coming up. So if anyone's listening, we will only be having shows on the 2nd and the 16th of October. That being said, I wanted to run this one by you. What if we did, for those two shows, we pick a horror film. Now, granted, we have to be careful because if we have the live feed going on YouTube, we cannot show the film, and we have to definitely interact. So otherwise, you get pinged like a mofo. Not like we don't get pinged already on occasion. But
Even if it's like a free domain one?
if it's a free domain one, which, like, I think the best one to start off with, Night of the Living Dead. Because it had something very significant besides the birth. I'm not going to say the birth of the zombie film, but it was basically the grandfather of the zombie film. It's what got things really started. But it had terrific social commentary. But I thought, what if we took a bit of a step back from ranting, learning things about putting oranges up our butts? No, I didn't forget.
He said he felt bad about that because he said it was like, man, they sound like they was disturbed by that. I was like, I don't think so.
No, not disturbed, but puzzled. Extremely puzzled.
That's difficult to disturb me.
It can
Go
be
to
done,
the
though.
gathering.
I was just saying, it can be done.
I would.
Go to the gathering.
But I thought we could watch some horror flicks. You know, do our own little, like, what are those, they call them, the commentary tracks. Like, we used to do it on occasion previously, like we did 31, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get me a link or something to it, like some days ahead of time,
Oh, yeah.
I'll just go ahead and log in and we can preset everything.
Because we can also probably,
And shout out to whoever fixed the YouTube because that ran real smooth,
yeah,
surprisingly.
there was hardly any.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with us earlier. I'm sorry, y'all. We run on CPT time.
Now cut that out. I went certified pharmacy technician. What? And then it hit me. Oh, no.
I mean, but technically, we can't start until I walk in. So
Technically,
I
but
try to be here early. Like I did good today.
yeah, you beat us here. But yeah, I think we should start it next week with not next week, next show with Night of the Living Dead, the original.
Okay.
And then we can just do our own little commentary during, and then our own little review. So, but yeah, that one you can find just about anywhere. I think you can even find that on YouTube, can't you?
Yeah, that's free. It's easy to find.
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one's not hard to find. But let's see, they got the Elvira special coming out on Shudder pretty
who?
soon. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
See, y'all are so deep into the horror films. Like y'all say names that I've never heard of.
You
Dude,
just show her a picture.
Dude,
like
no,
right
no,
now. Just
no,
stop.
no. Google.
Look it up.
Google Elvira, Mistress of the Dark right now, and you'll say, that's what we're watching. Right now. Right now, I'm stunned you haven't heard of her.
Oh my goodness. I wonder if I have that picture on my phone of when we got our picture taken with her. Because that's funny.
That one's epic. That is an epic picture. Because even though you did not intend...
Oh, I didn't know that's what that was called. I don't remember seeing it, but yeah, they used to have this like in the movie Mania. This was like the main movie that they were having. Like this is a horror flick, right? Like
Elvira?
Yeah.
Well, she's a host.
She's a horror movie hostess.
This.
But she does have her own movies.
They used to have a display of this girl. I remember the hair
Yeah, she's been in movies.
because I thought it was the Addams Family.
I think she took inspiration from the Addams Family, like from Morticia, as well as from who was that one that was in the Ed Wood movies?
Vampira?
Oh yeah, Vampira. Was that her name, Vampira?
I think so.
Oh, that definitely was said then. If it's Elvira.
But yeah, we met her in Cincinnati years ago, and
She still look like this?
oh yes,
Isn't she like 70 now? 73
she's
or
in her
something?
60s.
Oh.
She is in her 60s. I think when we met her, she was 62.
Who?
But you can't tell.
Is her real name Cassandra Peterson?
Yep.
Yes.
She's 70.
She's 70?
She is 70.
She don't look 70, does she?
Birthday
Nope.
was yesterday.
Oh.
I knew it was her birthday yesterday, but I did not know she was 70.
Yeah, she looked damn good though to be 70.
Oh, God. She wanted me to sit on the chair with her. I'm like, ma'am, I'm way too large to sit on a chair with you. I'll just kneel beside you if you don't mind, like a loyal subject. But when we met her, you only were in there for a split second to get your picture taken with her. And I already knew the pose I was going to do. I was going to lean in, thumbs up with the little cherubic little like, I didn't know what Amanda was going to do.
She puts me on the spot. I don't know. I ain't good at posing. I'm not good at facial expressions. I don't know what to do.
But the picture that came out, epic.
I was about to make the face that I was planning on making when they took the picture. So that's why it came out so good.
And the look on her face was literally like she had planned to do some very, very nasty things to Elvira. And by nasty, I mean get out the handcuffs, the whips, the riding crop, maybe a little candle. She was going to have her way with Elvira. That's what her face was saying. It was like epic.
Why don't y'all ever get? Well, maybe I'll talk about that off of air one day or something.
Ask away.
Like with you guys being so open about like sexual things and stuff like that.
I'm kind of open. She's a little, but
no, but I'm saying
no
like
shame.
through storytelling, like get together and write like an Audible series, but like listen, like
She is published.
from
sort of.
I don't know if it's the right word, but lesbian.
Lesbian comedy, something of another, because that's what it would be.
No, not even just a comedy, just like straight up Zane skyscraper type. You never heard of Zane?
Yeah, you probably could make some. It's kind of popular. The lesbian, sex fiction, gay fiction now.
Yeah, but
This is news to me. I
but
have no idea.
make it realistic. You know, the whole like you said, you guys fantasize about different people, like the Dorsey, the drive-through girl.
Dorsey, the drive-through girl.
What's her name?
That is a good one. I like
Darcy.
that one.
Darcy.
The drive-through girl.
The last night at the drive-in.
Stacy with one eye.
What's her name?
It's Darcy, the last drive-in male girl.
Okay, the last drive-in male girl.
The drive-through girl.
I had
sounds-
some of it in there.
The
I had
dri-
some of. Listen, I smoked. I'm sorry, y'all.
The drive-through
Brings
girl
new meaning to quickie, huh?
sounds so significantly worse and good at the same time.
Hey, but you know,
It's like, okay, ready? Next. It's like, damn, man. But yeah, but come on. All you have to do is take one look at her and listen to her, and you're just like this. And if we can at the same time both be like in agreement, be like, you know,
right from that perspective.
be like, okay, you attack from the front, I'll attack from the rear.
See, like I had a book that I was working on. I don't think it ever come out though. It's called 101 Statistics. Each chapter was named after a girl or a woman I was with. And I got this.
I have to go on.
So, you know, the Pansy chapter was the 20-year difference relationship and stuff like that.
The pansy chapter?
Yeah, that's her name, Pansy.
Okay, I thought maybe you had a...
No. That's her birth name, Pansy. So I named that chapter Pansy, and it talks about it because it ties in with the Cecily, because Cecily is the daughter of that person. And I was with Cecily first before I got with her. So it was like a deep, real situation. It wasn't like trying to sell it for thrills. It was word for word from the part of Cecily's grandmother finding me in a closet naked, chasing me down the steps with a knife, skipping school to be there, sleeping in the house with the husband upstairs in another room, and me and her sleeping in the same room. So that's why I'm saying it's like people who actually experience it, like people could write lesbian stories all day or gay stories all day, but they're selling a story. Write it from a part where what really happens. Not saying y'all got to write y'all bedroom story.
Oh, no.
But
Ours would look something straight out of Benny Hill, because it honestly is like, it's definitely not picturesque, artistic at all. It's like Cat. Stop staring at me. You know, it's goofy at best, but I will say this. As far as I did write one erotica before. It was for an anthology series that was supposed to be set in like ghosts and supernatural. It's definitely not my forte per se. I'm more the best type of stories I can write, and I have wrote some fiction, and I didn't think they turned out badly. They need some polish here and there, but I will say this: I agree with you in the aspect because I have watched some porn in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot stand watching what some of the industry consider lesbian porn.
Are you talking about the scissor bumping?
No, I'm
Oh.
not talking about that at all.
Well, I hate that shit.
I'm talking about what was it? The Sopranos. I wanted to see it because I really love the TV show The Sopranos. So I'm like, how bad could this possibly be? It was bad, folks. But the one in particular that I was just completely like, check, please, I'm out. To the one lone person watching us on YouTube, you might want to check out for 5 minutes. The one girl goes down on this really dim-witted mob wife. And at one point, she pulls back, and there's this string. Literally, I want to say mucus, but I don't know what the fuck it was. And she literally goes, going back down. I was grossed the fuck out. And I'm thinking, I think I looked at you and went, this has never happened ever in the history of ever. If straight people think this is what happens, it does not happen.
See, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of them scenes are forced scenes, or they just make it happen for that dollar.
Oh God, it was so fucking great. It's been what, 18 years since we've seen it, and it still haunts me. Just that it was that noise that. Ugh. Ugh.
I remember watching my first porn. My mom and dad had a tape, not of them, but they had a tape, and I fucked up grabbing the wrong tape. I went to go try to watch Angels in the Outfield. Next to it was Angels in Heat.
Oh God.
And all I seen was Angels, and I took it and put it on. I say I watched about a good 7 to 10 minutes of it before somebody came in and was like, what are you watching? And that's when they told me, it's like, you ain't not supposed to be watching this and blah, blah, blah. And I guess as I got older, porn became a good reading source
I got
for me.
one. I got one for you. You will appreciate the hell out of this. So my mom buckled down one year and finally got us a VCR. And she got a membership to a place long since closed called Video Madness. And she had my brothers go rent her some videos, some for, the younger ones like me. And she heard from her friends that she needs to watch this movie called Mandingo. Yes, folks, this is about to take a hard fucking left. My mom, I'm not going to say she was naive or anything like that, but I don't think she knew what she was in for when she had them rent, because they even looked at her and went, are you sure? So they come home, bring home the video cassettes. My mom did not realize that I had come out and I laid on the floor. And I'm watching this movie. And there's a scene where, the one, I think the one slave owner sleeps with this one woman. She gives birth and dies as she's staring at the sun. And then this other guy, I don't know if he was being punished for something. I don't remember what. He's hanging from a rafter in a barn, and this white woman comes in, starts having her way with him, and it's all graphic. And I'm just sitting, laying on the floor, looking like, what the hell's going on here? What that's real? Wow. And then he is released the next day. He falls over, stares at the sun, and dies. So I'm confused. I don't remember how old I was. I just went, how come is it every time they have sex, they stare at the sun and die? Is this what happens? And my mom goes, what are you doing here? Get out! Sorry for those who were listening to that just a second ago. But she got revenge years later. Years later. We got cable. I was the one that was paying for the cable bill. And I'm watching this movie called Claire of the Moon. It's a lesbian movie. I was not out yet. And I'm sitting there, and it's a sex scene, and I'm trying desperately not to look interested. I'm just like this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look nonchalant.
So wait.
Look nonchalant.
Yep. Act nonchalant. And to my right, I hear my mom say, you know, there's just something natural about two women making love. And I go, aspirin. I need aspirin. Do you need aspirin, Mom? I need aspirin. And I just left the room.
So you knew when you were younger?
Yes. I actually kind of knew, I want to say kindergarten. Because I liked little, I'm not, I know this is going to make me sound like any second now your buddy Chris Hansen's going to come through that door and say, why don't you have a seat? I'm already sitting, sir.
What up, Chris? He ain't asked us to sit down, so that was a good day.
But I knew when I was little, I thought little girls were cute.
So
And you like the little boy toys.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question? A
Fire
personal
away.
question.
Fire away. I can't guarantee a good answer, but fire away.
No, because I got friends and family, more family, who are against the gay thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not more so against it, but just feel like it's not natural.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they accept people for who they are. I got a cousin who's openly gay, super flamboyant, you know, and he would come hang out with me, and I would tell him, bro, be yourself. You know, you don't have to act any other way than who you are, you know, because one, I'm not the most gangster person that you go see, so you don't have to put on this persona that you hard. And two,
Maybe that's a bad choice of wordings.
you know what? I wasn't saying hard, though. I wasn't saying that. It was a whole different dialect.
I'm just saying. I'm just
But
saying. I'm just
I
saying.
didn't catch that until you just said that.
You don't have to act so hard.
So my question is, because a lot of people in my family always say, oh, we knew when they were younger they were going to be this, or we knew this, that, and the third. Do you believe that you can be born gay, or is it solely a choice?
I think born.
Yeah, you're born that way.
You think so?
Yes.
Yes.
Can y'all elaborate on that? Like, why do you feel?
Because I can't speak for her, but I knew, like I said, kindergarten, I knew I liked little girls. Not like, oh, I like you. Let's go do hopscotch, which I never fucking understood that game, but that's neither here nor there. And I just knew that I had crushes on girls. You know, like when you were growing up, you saw a girl, you thought she was pretty, you had a crush on her, that kind of thing. It was no different for me. What felt unnatural is being told I was supposed to like little boys. I was supposed to wear dresses. Oh my God, that felt... I never felt more in drag than when I had to wear dresses. I always felt like this was just... And I had to put on such a front to make it look like, this is nice. It just felt unnatural to me to be anything but the way I was. And I had to live that way... God, 24 years? 24 years of my life was spent trying to fit in a different narrative than what I really was. So I can honestly say for myself, I knew when I was little that I liked girls. I had a crush on this one college... See, even I started young. I had a crush on this girl when I was like 8 years old and we were up at Marquette. I had a crush on this college girl and I'm like, just like pitter petter, pitter petter, pitter petter. And anything, and don't get me wrong, when I did date a guy, I did have feelings for him, but it just didn't feel true, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense because that was actually going to my next question. So you saying 24 years when you fit into that box,
And
Or
that's
tried
not
to
easy
fit in
being
that
as big
box.
as I am.
Oh my God. But no, like within that 24 years, did you have to force yourself to sexually be with a man?
Yes.
Have you never? Oh, so you have had
Yes.
it. Okay. Okay. And you just realized you just didn't. It wasn't your
Yeah,
motion.
I couldn't go any further than acts being perpetrated on me, so to speak. There was never penetration, none of that.
Okay.
But I could not do, and I know my sister's like listening, going, God, Dawn, shut up. Ew.
Hello, Miss Allen.
But I never did anything oral on him. If anything, it got to like the heavy petting stages, and that was it. It never got further than that because I just did not feel comfortable doing that. And I know what some people would say in that regard, be like, well, if you try it once, you get used to it. I didn't even want to try it.
No, I get it. So, answering the question, penetration wise, never by a physical man.
Or a woman, for that matter.
Okay. We'll come back to that.
In other words, there was none of this, and certainly none of this. None of that.
And that's just by total discomfort. Like the thought of it.
It's by choice. To me, I get, for myself, I get way more pleasure from what we do than going any further than that. To me, it's not even necessary. Again, Dee Dee, you might want to plug your ears for this part.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put y'all on the spot like this.
It doesn't put me on the spot, but I could just hear her going la 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 la. For the next 2 minutes, Dee, plug your ears. Hum your favorite song. I can get on Amanda and do the missionary position that straight people do and get off. Penetration's not needed at all.
No.
Boy, this is making your conspiratorial mind go into overload, isn't it?
Somewhat. No, like I don't want to make y'all feel weird or nothing. I'm not visualizing you guys. I'm just trying.
God,
to,
I hope not.
I just
Because the bucket's right over there, sir.
listen.
Go
Listen,
on.
Don't get me fired now. No, but no, it's just weird to hear that because it's like this is the most open. Like I got people that's open, but they always extra with their answers. Biatch, you know this. Come on now. I'm trying to find out a real like answer. Like how do you overcome these things? Like you saying that you just felt a certain way about women versus men, and you kind of stuck with that from childhood up to where you at now. So I've only known people who told me they're gay now because some guy done them wrong, or generally that's what it is. It's just they get tired of dealing with dudes, and dudes always fucking them over, and they feel like the
I
only
think
way to
in
understand.
cases like that, that's a person who's had like bisexual tendencies, and they just like a lot of bisexuals that I know of, and I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people in the new world, but because I know there's non-binaries, there's gender fluid, da 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 da. I'm still learning, folks.
I was gonna say, what is all these titles?
Trust me, I'm still learning them. But I know a lot of bisexuals who, even though they can be intimate with both sexes, they still have more or less a preference that they will go for. If they are, and this is just a theory, I'm probably wrong. But if they're a person that says, that's it, I'm tired of men, I'm going straight to women, they probably always had a bit of an attraction for women, but they never acted on that impulse. Or they felt that if they did act on that impulse, they'd become pariahs, social pariahs. Because, even though being gay and all that stuff is a little bit more accepted now than it was, say, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it's still not exactly accepted.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of them are just like, well, you know what? I'm tired of paying that motherfucker's rent. I'm tired of him cheating on me. I am going to sleep with his sister. It could have always been there.
I get you.
I think that much like it seems like your identity is almost, it's more of a spectrum now. Like you said, there's this whole rainbow of different things. I think sexuality is on a spectrum too. And I'm not saying you can't be totally straight or totally gay, but I think most people, there's amounts. You can be mostly this way, but maybe that's not out of the question for you. Like she's saying, I don't think bisexuality is just this and is directly even down the line. I think more people have at least a little bit of bisexual tendencies than maybe. And again, with it being so, you're right, like, you're not allowed to be gay, you're not allowed to do this. Maybe you just, like, totally disregard that little tiny bit of, well, I kind of like, who doesn't like boobs? I mean, really. So.
Yeah, both of us.
Right?
Boobs make the world go round. But,
so, yeah.
So, help me understand this, and maybe this is just a younger generation. Down, let us go back.
Are you trying to say we're old?
No.
I'm joking.
You're
Go on.
you're more mature.
Oh, now that's an insult. That is an
Hey,
insult.
that's the first choice of porn I go to. I'm telling you, milfing it up.
Yeah, we were separated at birth, man. I think we were. Because every now I told her sometimes I'll go to like Pornhub or like RedTube and be like, old man, young woman, just to see what
Listen,
comes up.
First thing I'll be
see.
like, grandma. And then I'll be trying to get Pacific. I'll be like, Detroit grandma.
Oh dear God.
Detroit grandma black. But no, why is it that women who choose not to be with a man, they don't want to be penetrated by a man, but will still accept penetration from a dildo or another toy?
Truth, I can't. I think I can kind of explain it to a degree. See, that's saying that the whole act is solely focused on having a dick involved. Now, granted, I don't go for the penetration thing, but I do know women who liked to be penetrated, and I have penetrated with them with,
I got you.
happy fingers.
Spirit fingers.
Exactly. Jazz hands. It's because I don't care how talented of a tongue you have. The G-spot is inside.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to get it is by having some sort of penetration involved. Like this, again, Deed, plug your ears, la, la, la. You had to go in, and her G-spot would move, which is so weird. One day it would be here, the next day it's going to be at the side of the wall.
That's why no one can find them. They move.
Exactly. It's a myth. No, it's got a GPS. That's what it is. But you had to go in just as soon as you come in, curve your finger up, and boom, it's right there. On most days.
Yeah, most days for other people
And then
I know, yeah.
some days, balls to the wall. But anyway, but in a case such as, and I know how that sounds. Well, wait a minute. I don't get penetration. How the fuck does my G-spot even remotely get hit? Dude, this is why I'm throwing the thing about the dildo and the dick thing. Sex is so much more than just physical. There's the emotional part, and I think it's more 90% mental. I'm not saying you're fantasizing about another person while you're with somebody. Sometimes people do. I'm not going to lie there.
Got me through a few days.
I'm not going to lie. Some people have fantasized about other people. But to me, if you're going with a mental aspect, like I can get distracted by noise in a heartbeat. It takes a dog barking downstairs to stop me cold. But then you get to restart and it's so much more fun. But the point is though, mental, you're enjoying the whole aspect of it. You're focusing on what not necessarily totally what you're doing, but what you're experiencing. And that involves the whole body, that involves the whole mind. All the senses are at play. And yeah, I know some people are going to be like, aha! The dick has nothing totally to do with it. It's
I believe it
emotion,
too.
it's physical, and it's mental.
But you know what? You sound like me without saying what I would say in a sense, because I would tell like girls in the past that offered threesomes or I've had a threesome with before. They be like, "Oh, you get off on that kind of stuff, don't you?" No, what I get off on is you being pleased. Like, cause I think that shit is fucking awesome. Like, if you can be involved with a woman or whatever your pick of the choosing is, and you can thoroughly see them enjoy themselves, I think it's some type of excitement build up in that within itself. Like you said, it's a mental thing, but like you said, 90% mental. I think it's on the other end. When a woman is allowing penetration, it becomes more of an emotional thing than it becomes a physical thing. Not a physical, but mental thing.
But in a way, you just kind of contradicted yourself.
What do you say?
You said with you, it's watching them being pleased that gets you off.
Yeah. Or just being
That's
being
kind
a
of
part of the pleasing side.
that's kind of mental, because it's filling your senses in a way. It's feeding into your what you're seeing and what you're experiencing, and it's all. I'm not going to say it's all in your head.
Oh no, not the emotional part for me.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm talking about you're seeing them, for lack of better words, getting off.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're getting to watch it, it's like watching. I hate to compare this to football, but what the fuck? A really good football game, where it's really close. You're watching your team come from pardon the pun, come from behind. And, it fills you up. That is emotion, but there's also a mental aspect to it because it's now in your memory banks. You're feeding off of that in a weird way. If you ever get a chance, I it's because they came on a Friday, Friday or Saturday night, and I was up late. But Real Sex on HBO, back when they had that series,
Yeah.
they touched on that a lot. And you see a lot of fetishes, some that make absolutely no sense to me, but a lot of it is mental, because it's the mental aspect that kind of feeds on. It gets fed with the emotion and the physical.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, a woman accepting penetration from a man, I think that opens up the door for them to feel more emotional than it is to feel mental. Just because, again, coming up and depending on who you came up around or whatever, you were taught that your body is a temple. You're allowing someone access. That's why I say power of pussy. It's a real thing. Because unless this woman allows you to insert her, that is rape.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy that good time unless that woman allows you to partake in whatever that play may be. So that's when I say emotional, is because when you start to do that and then you get those, I ain't gonna say all women, but more than 50% of them feel like an entitlement comes with that. Feeling like it's an inclusive thing or exclusive thing, to where, again, partially mentally, that they're together, but now you're starting to feel all these things when that person goes off to do something else. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's not really touching on what I'm trying to say, but it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I like seeing women please. It don't have to be two women on each other, but just to see how a girl reacts to what you potentially could have had her doing. That's like that's a whole different ball game. It's like porn in front of you. Just you can be the one down there doing the plan, but when you get to see or be a part of that whole feeling that she's feeling, that's a whole different thing. So that's what I'm saying. So when there's women saying, I don't want to fuck with me and this, that, and third, I don't even like dick, this, that, and the third, but then we'll be with a whole woman, and fucking from double-ended dildos, and that's what I'm saying. I hate that kind of stuff because now you don't know if you should enjoy it or not. You get what? All right, so like listen to y'all. I listen to y'all the situation. In my mind,
Oh God, here we go.
no, in my mind, I'm enjoying every bit of it because it's like, okay, I'm actually getting the real information from the source.
But only for their situation.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it's like, all right, so if I had to put this in a guy and a woman, listening to what you said, how you say it's a whole thing, the body, the experience, and things like that. How do you please that woman on a physical level without the penetration and make it worthwhile, not just caressing?
I was gonna say, usually I just buy her a Slurpee.
Well, okay,
If
there's
it was that easy, I got a bridge card, people.
it's called an erogenous zone for a reason. There's different types of orgasms. Yeah, the G-spot is real popular, but I don't know how many women necessarily can get off without something going all the way in, but it's on the outside too. You don't have to go in at all.
Yeah, and I know of a few people that have claimed that they said they've never had one via insertion.
Never had a what, orgasm?
An
Never
orgasm,
had an
yeah.
orgasm.
I've heard people say that, but I believe a lot lie.
I'm thinking, because let's be realistic, and then we're gonna wrap things up. Who here remembers their very, very, very first orgasm?
Very,
I
very
do.
first one.
Yesterday don't count, dear.
Mm.
I couldn't tell you what my very first one was like. I really couldn't. I just know it was probably an accident. And I'm not saying that I was washing it and it went off type of thing. I mean, literally, it probably happened by accident. I don't remember.
I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
And I know you remember yours because, well,
It was kind of an accident too, but I mean, I was watching Tales from the Crypt. But wait a minute. Wait a
I
minute.
didn't know this. I did not know this.
No, and it had one of those actresses we both really like in there. And she wanted to get pregnant, but she didn't want nothing to do with a man. So she wines and dines this guy, and they're going at it. And for whatever reason, I just decided to just start touching myself. But that's how that happened. But it was during a sex scene. It wasn't like,
It's
An
still Tales from the
autopsy.
Crypt.
I mean, at the end, at the very end, she pulled out an axe and killed him. But before that is,
Oh, well.
it was just a happenstance.
Things you find out about your significant
Hey,
other.
we're gonna have to have a
I
whole
did tell
show
you
on
about this
one day.
before. I probably just didn't specify what
think-
I was watching.
I
Maybe.
think we should set up for a show and just have a round table of everybody from different walks of life. Like, I'm gonna have my cousin come in from his perspective too, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna let y'all ask those questions. I don't know how to properly ask them without feeling.
Tales from the Crypt. Does it turn you on? Does it make you horny, baby? Now I know if I ever want to get her in the mood, I'll just grab the disc set off the wall and just be like,
Right. I might have to go try that. Be like, shoot, let me go find somebody. Like, you
it
want to
was
watch
still
Tales
a
from the Crypt?
sex scene. It just happened to be.
I know there are sex
know what I
scenes in
watch.
movies that I'm like, yeah. We will wrap this up in just a second, but I have to share this
No
one.
pun intended.
I have to share this one. So let's backtrack a bit.
Okay.
Back when we had cable, I would zip through the channels, and she's in the back room, and I'm zipping through the channels, and the remote would stop after a certain amount of channels, and then you got to hit it again and go back. She just happens to come out at the moment it stopped on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay? And the first words out of her mouth are, "Can't you watch porn like anybody else?" So fast forward to a few years ago. She's in her office. I had to ask a question. I opened the door, and I never seen her slam that computer to a different tab so fast, but I saw what was on the computer. And she's just like, whoa! And I'm like, can't you just watch Keeping with the Kardashians like everybody else?
That's what's up. That's dope. I definitely want to talk about this one day.
Oh, and we'll probably bounce into it. Personally, I don't know how we got from vaccines, aliens to. So you've never been penetrated.
I guess we were talking about Area 51, and you know.
And well, the G spot is a mystery.
Hey, there you go.
So we're gonna wrap things up. Like I said, the next time we are going to be on is October 2nd. We are going to have, since it's Halloween month, we're going to be watching horror films. So the first one will be the classic Night of the Living Dead. We will be running our own commentary. Feel free to jump in and join us on the YouTube channel. Participate, bring some of your favorite, I guess, munchies, and we'll just wax poetic. So until then, I've been Dawn and Cortez. That has been the multilingual cunnilinguist Amanda. And until we see you in October, keep your rants in your pants. Or not.
Really?
Or not.
I don't know. The computer wants to freeze up on us. I don't know why.
That's a huge bitch.
Did y'all get that on YouTube?
Better made all authentic with no lie. Can't solicit dreams to the teams when the team's not buying. Steady puffing the strings and leave me cocked to the side. Something like corned beef on racks, special soda on the side. Hit the full of strap, veins and coals in my eyes. Presidential's on the wrist, me reflecting my grind. Place the racks around my face, illuminating the time. Kiss your girl, Daphne D.
Thank y'all for being open about that.
Oh, yeah. It's always better to, ask questions and be informed than to, just keep, I don't know, people in the dark or perpetuating stuff that ain't true.
Yeah, cause when y'all say certain things, I don't be wanting to be looking at y'all without saying that, cause now I'm looking like a weirdo. But it's like, damn, do you ask them this question? And I was like, shit, I've been hanging with y'all long enough. Now I need to know answers. Help me out. I'm trying to navigate through life. If y'all in the Allen Park area, feel free to stop by. I'm performing tonight. And shit. If y'all come through, I buy beer on me. Place called Simon's After Dark. Need to come up there tomorrow. Shampoo these carpets.
Someone's still watching. Are we logged out?
I can't hear none because